Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, May 12th. I just gotta say, I am so happy and proud of my car. The car that I drive. My little Honda Civic. You may ask, why are you so happy about that, Alex? Why do you care so much about your Honda Civic? And this is kind of, I guess you can say, an advertisement. I'm not being paid by Honda, even though they should be sponsoring the podcast. I don't know why they haven't jumped on yet. Maybe this will get them to do it. But throughout my entire life, I've dealt with car troubles, car problems, car issues. And I think that we all kind of do that too, in some way, shape, or form. That it just kind of happens, right? Like, out of the blue, you're feeling good, you're doing well, you got some money in your pocket and all that, and then all of a sudden, boom, your car needs maintenance, or you get a flat tire, or you need some oil changed or something. Something happens, and then you're like, oh, I got to spend money on this now. And then you go to the dealership, and then you're like, oh, I just want to get this done. And then they're like, well, actually, you need this done. You need a new steering wheel. You need new tires. You need a new engine too, buddy. That's going to cost you like around $50,000. You're like, all right, fine, just do it. Whatever. Let's get it over with right now. And in hindsight, you probably only had to do like one thing. You probably just need to get your tire fixed, and that was it at that moment. But I feel like I've been pretty lucky with my car. I have a Honda Civic, 4-door, technology model. It's got Apple CarPlay. It's got all the bells and whistles. It's got a camera, rear camera, blind spot camera. It's so sick. It's so nice. It drives pretty damn good. It can get up in speed. It's got a sport mode. If you're not driving a car, a modern day car with Apple CarPlay, what are you doing? To me, that's just a deal breaker now. Like, I cannot just get into a car and be all good with an aux cord. Like, I just want that Apple CarPlay. It sounds like I'm being spoiled, right? But I guess I kind of am, if you think about it. Like, the Apple CarPlay feature just hooks up your music, podcast, navigation, everything else is, calls, messages, is all integrated with your car, to make the drive, the navigation, you able to choose what you want to do on your phone so much simpler, because it just all goes into the main console, and the little thing that not the console, but the little touchpad or whatever you have right there. It's just so much easier. And but I've been blessed with like not too many car issues. Occasionally the oil change, rotating the tires, but like, as far as like maintenance and like performance and all that, like, it's been pretty good. No, knock on wood right now, but I feel like I've been blessed in terms of car and in terms of like maintenance and all that. I just feel like, other people can get screwed over or something like that, or maybe not choose a well made car. Like, some people, I've heard that Kia is very, very, very like unreliable and just, cheaply made cars. And I'm not saying that Honda's like, carved out of marble or like used like, like made by hand or anything like that. But like, I'm just saying, like, their design and their performance goes hand in hand. And, with sleek design and good interior, it's just like, wow, it's not like a Ferrari or like a nice car like a Camaro or a Jeep Wrangler or a Toyota Camry like that. But it's still pretty nice. It's a nice car. It's fun to drive. It's got some speed, and it's pretty safe. I've never felt safer in any other car. Being with that blind spot camera, man. That thing has made my neck not as sore as it used to be. You remember back when there was no like rear view camera or even like to my privilege a blind spot camera, how much you would have to turn your neck back and forth just to see things around your car. Now you got cameras and stuff. It's like, this is amazing. Why would anybody like go back to no cameras on the car, especially the blind spot camera? Because the amount of times I use the blind spot camera every single time. Knock on wood, it doesn't go out anytime soon, but that thing is just a lifesaver. It's so easy. It's so nice. It's always, I know how to use it. I know when to use it. It's the best. I still always check my blind spot, but like, I really like don't even need to at this point because it's so reliable and it's just, it's a great feature. And if you've never had the privilege to drive a car that has a blind spot camera or have a car that has a blind spot camera, you should check it out. If somebody has one, try it out. If you were looking to purchase a car, see if they have it. It's truly life-changing on the road. And in a state like California, when it's a lot of freeways and a lot of, highways, there's nothing better than a blind spot camera. I mean, it's amazing. Now, depending on what part of California you live in, it could be even better. If you're in LA where the drivers are aggressive yet polite, they'll let you, switch lanes if you need to. But like, just going up to San Francisco sometimes, it could get pretty bad up there, or even in the Central Valley, or even by the coast. I mean, traffic is, pretty much what California is known for. Like, there's always traffic everywhere you go. At any given time, there could be a lot of traffic. Just because we're such a highly populated state. That's just how it is. But like that blind spot camera, man, wherever you are, it really does come into play. And I just want to thank Honda for that, especially my Honda. It's been with me through thick and thin, to many places across the state, and has never given me any trouble. And knock on wood again. Just thank you for that. It's been great. I was thinking about like, should I get a new car? Maybe trade this bad boy in? Maybe sell this bad boy? I'm like, no, I don't think so. Like this is, and I'm not one to like think that like to get too like personal with like a vehicle or whatever, but like I just feel like this is my car. I don't need to go through the process to buy a new car. Even though it would be nice and it would be really cool to do that, and like new cars, they're only like really gonna get any better, right? I mean, they can only get better. But it's like, I don't feel like I need that. I feel like I'm just fine with this one, and it's just like I feel happy and safe, and for most importantly, reliable on the road, which is all you can kind of ask for and want for. It's always been reliable, right? It's always been, by my side, I guess. And it's just been great. And I never want to see it go. I never do. Ever. Something that is leaving us, though. And this was a bit of a shock to me, because I had kind of forgotten about this thing. And I forgot, like, not in like I wanted to forget, but just in the time that we are in right now and how our lives operate now, that I feel like with this item, this product, it almost makes sense that it is gone, because I literally know nobody that's using one right now or has wanted to get one or is planning to buy one or anything like that. But still, it's still going to be a big loss to pop culture, I think, human society. And that's the iPod. If you didn't hear about this, it came out a couple days ago that the iPod will no longer be being manufactured by Apple. Now, at this point, there's only the iPod Touch right now. Like, there's no, I believe that there's no physical, like, clicky button iPods anymore, or no, like, little iPod Nanos, iPod Videos, iPod Shuffles. I believe that those ones are all gone. The iPod Touch was the last one that you can get. And the news that, that the iPod was the device, the single device that got me into Apple in the first place. Got me into, I would say, even to technology in the first place. just of because it was popular at the time. I had seen people have them when I was younger, before I even got my own. And I was always like, kind of like, I've heard, like, wait, that company that made these, really clunky looking computers that you can see through them, like the transparent or translucent shell, back when I was in first grade, like that Apple, the Macintosh Apple with like the rainbow apple, that Apple. Like, yeah, these guys made this cool little device. I'm like, whoa, that's cool. That's pretty sick. And I remember when I saw it, I'm like, I gotta get me one of those, because I heard that you can watch. Well, first of all, play music, which I was so like excited about. Like, holy crap, this is like I'm gonna be able to listen to whatever I want and not have to put in a CD player or a CD or a cassette or anything. Just play the songs out of this little device. And they got these cool white headphones, and it looks so sleek and small at the time and thin and very compact compared to a CD player or a cassette player. And I was just like, I got to get one of those. So I like my, intrigue pretty much, and even my brother before that, got my entire family into like Apple and the Apple universe, because at that time before that, we just had like a home computer. It was Windows Vista, I believe, and that's where we just had all of our CDs and all that, and all of our like pictures. We had all that house there, and that was like the first device where, when we booted it up, when I got my first iPod, it was an iPod Nano, second generation. It was the first time that I've ever used, or even my parents used, like an Apple product, I believe. So that was all like new to them. The iTunes store was new to them. That was back in the day when you had to pay 99 cents for a song. And at that point, I was like, how are they gonna? How do you store the music on there? Because again, before that, there was no tape, no disc, right? No CD. So like, how is this gonna work? The iPod was when I first learned about like internal storage, like gigabytes. I was like, what? What's a gigabyte? It's like, oh, well, like the basic way that they described it back then to me was that since I had like a 2 gigabyte iPod Nano when I first got it, it said on the box, I believe, that you can store up to 500 songs, depending on how long they are. I was like, holy shit, I don't even know 500 songs. Like, I'm never going to fill this up. This is going to be last me till the dawn of time, because I don't even know like 10 songs. And then gradually, like you use it more, and then that kind of like it bridges a gap. Like, oh, music is so like easy to get now. Like, what else is out there? What do I not know out there about music? Like, what other music there is? And then just natural progression. Like, the years go on, new artists come up. New music comes out, and I kind of like have to think that the iPod and Apple and all that kind of like, since it made music so accessible at that time, it's like the music industry, I believe, just shot up, like just boom, 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 boom. Like there were so many like bands back in the day, like in the 2000s, hip hop artists, pop artists that just came out of that era. And I'm like, I got to think that the iPod and Apple had to have a big impact on that. Just like how easy it became to access music, and how easy that artists were able to put their music on there. And you didn't even have to buy an entire album. You could just buy a song if it allowed it. Like some albums were like album only, but like if you liked that music a lot, you would just, you would buy it anyway. But like if you're like, I like a couple songs, I'll buy this one, and that one. And it was just so like revolutionary. Like I remember having, for birthdays and all that, and holidays, I would get like Apple gift cards or Apple iTunes gift cards to the iTunes store. And then that was just like, whoa. I mean, like I have like $15 in my pocket. I can buy either an entire album or a couple banger songs and still have a balance left on the iTunes. I was just in shock. And that was back when I didn't have an email address, so I had to use my dad's. And like as a family, we just all use that one to house all of our devices. And I was just like, this is amazing. This is great. And it had games on there too. Like they had like these little like, like mini arcade type games. Like I think it was like a Pong type game. I think there was like an asteroid game and maybe like solitary. And I was just like, this thing is amazing. And it charges. It's got a pretty long lasting charge. It's got music. You can have, eventually if you got a better model, you can put like videos on there, whether it be like a movie, music video, TV shows. Like, this is great. This is so good. And then after that, I was like, well, this can't get any better, right? This can't, nothing can match this. Like, right? I thought I was so set, right? Back then I had my cell phone, my iPod, cell phone, and wallet. I was like, that's all I need. I'm all good. I'm fantastic. And then around like maybe, when I first saw it, I think it was like maybe 2006, 2007, I think. Well, 2006 is when it came out, but I think the first time I saw it was 2007. Was the, no, I think it was 2006, was the iPhone. I was like, wow, what is this? And it was like it looked alien to me. And I was like, what is this? Like, it's a phone, but it's also an iPod. I was like, wait, you're telling me like that this is a phone and an iPod? Like, I remember like that was like the big thing. Was like when Apple got into making phones, it was like, we're going to put your iPod into your phone. I was like, dude, this is so cool. But for years after that, I was still like an iPod guy because we didn't have AT&T back then. Back then, it was exclusively to AT&T. Like, well, I'm never going to get AT&T, or I'm not going to get AT&T anytime soon, so I'm just going to use my iPod still. Just my iPod. And then after that, they had, like, these other models of iPod, like iPod Classic, iPod Nano, like, different versions, different types of shuffles, for different types of people who maybe, like, I don't want my iPod to be this big, or I want it to be thinner, or I don't want it to be this shape because, reasons. And Apple got more creative with their designs. We got curvature, a little bit more angular, like the more storage. I remember like I think the iPod Classic or the iPod video got up to maybe, I want to say like maybe 124, 128 gigs, like the max, I think. At that point, I was like, dude, you can put like everything that you own on that because that's so much memory back then. Still is a lot of memory, but like back then I was like, dude, that's a lot of memory. That's sick. And I was just like blown away by the iPod and how everybody had one. Like almost everybody got an iPod because it was so easy to use, right? But back then, like, all these other like companies trying to compete with that, like Microsoft with their Zune, the Sony Ericsson, they got pretty close, but I would say like they never really even scratched the surface of how popular the iPod was. Not just like in pop culture, the design, the sleekness of it, the coolness of it, the color varieties in the future. Like, oh my God, you just couldn't beat it. No matter what other companies tried to do, they just could not beat the iPod. And then the iPod Touch came out. I was like, whoa, that looks just like an iPhone. But it's not. It's expensive. I'll give them that. It's really, 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 really expensive. But it's still. What are these things on there? Like these little games. Like what are they called? They're called apps. Like, oh, what's that? Like, are they cost money? Like no. Some of them are free. Like a lot of them are free. Like you don't have to pay for many of them. These like cool little games. Like back in the day, like Jelly Car. And a Doodle Jump, that was one. That was a popular one back then. A lot of really fun games that came out on the iPod Touch that I've experienced for the first time on an iPod Touch. That was back when they had the YouTube app already pre-downloaded on there. That was sick too. That I still miss that app. That app's functionality, usability was the best ever. Like, not even the modern day YouTube app right now. And I'm kidding around. Like, the YouTube app right now is great, but like back then when it was built in, it was so nice and so like it was like made into like the Apple design, like the way that it was like it looked like just like how it would look like if you were like on the music library. It was like similar to that. I was like, oh, this is amazing. It's just so integrated. It's perfect. I love this so much. Why would I why would I even use the YouTube website anymore? But when I got this, it's so much cleaner, easier to use. Like, I love it. But then again, Google got, was like, we can do something better. We'll pull our property from Apple. We'll stop them from, we'll stop licensing it to Apple. We'll make our own phone. And then they got the Pixel and all that stuff. But yeah, I remember like that stuff, like so part of my childhood being the iPod and being a part just of growing up. Like when you had an iPod, like, and you had your music in your pocket, dude, you felt like on top of the world. Like things ain't going well right now. Pop in your iPod. You're exercising or you're running or something like that. You're studying, pop in your iPod. You just want to drown out the noise, pop in your iPod. It was just so easy, so convenient, great design to attract, young, old, all types of audiences. Just, around the ability to have music wherever you want in a compact package. I was just like, I'm sold. I'm so sold. So the news when it came out that they were going to discontinue the iPod, while supplies last is what they've said. Like, if we got them, we'll sell them. But after that, we're no longer making them. Like, once they're gone, they're gone. I can't lie to you. I was a little struck by that. I was, because the iPod, and not just me personally, but like my entire family, my friends, my relatives, they all, like, a lot of them had iPods or like, talked about iPods and like the different types of iPods, the different models of iPods. You can put like, if you were to put like a time capsule of humanity, the iPod should be in there because it's a benchmark in time where we truly, I feel like, discovered a new love to access our music whenever we wanted to. Truly, like, there was no better feeling when you had your music in your pocket that could fit in your pocket. Like, they had like CD players that were getting like, pretty thin, but not like, pocket sized. But like, it was just, it changed everything. And now everything is on your phone. Now everything is on your phone. Like a modern phone today has, a phone, an iPod, a GPS, a computer, a TV if you want, a ruler, a projector, a flashlight. It's got everything now. You just expect your phone to have it all now. When back then I was just like, I need something to play my music. I want to listen to, Sweet Child of Mine whenever I want to. You got it right then and there, just in your pocket. And it was just a hell of a time. A hell of a time. I was just, I could not, man, like, people say the glory days a lot, but man, those days when we had iPods and when I was very young, like a middle school kid, all the way up until high school, or, until like I got my first iPhone, which was, I believe, senior year no. It was my freshman year of college, I think, or sophomore year of college when I got my first iPhone. But it was crazy. It was great. And yeah, I never forget the iPod. Staple in humanity. Staple in pop culture. People talk about the Walkman, the boombox, and that also was huge too. Gigantic. I mean, you see it in movies all the time. People walking around with boomboxes on their shoulders and then switching to the Walkman. Music just in your ears for you to listen to without, anybody else listening to. Like, that would have been awesome too. But for this generation, my generation, and the boom of the music industry. Like, there's so much music in that 2000s era, decade. So much. And so much now, too. But, like, I remember, like, hearing everything back then. Everything. It was incredible. It was a great time. And that was powered, I believe, through the accessibility to music through Apple's iPod. I truly do. You know, and it's just like, you think about it now, it's like, damn, the iPod essentially killed CDs. They essentially killed CDs and all other types of, like, you know, CD players, Walkmans, even boomboxes now, it all kind of were killed off by the iPod. If you think about it, like, at least in terms of personal music consumption or music listening. You do consume music, right? Like, we consume media, but not like eating it, like just, I guess, listening. But, like, yeah. But it's crazy. It's crazy to think about that. But again, will never be forgotten, ever. Thank you, Apple, and thank you, iPod, for bringing some of the best memories just of being a young kid at that time to listen to whatever he wanted in his pocket. It was just great. All right, so moving on from the sappy talk with iPods, and thank you again for your service, iPod. You will never be forgotten. You will never be forgotten. You will always be in my heart. Thank you, old friend. Thank you, old friend, for being in my pocket those years, those glory day years. Thank you for being there. Thank you, old friend. But moving on. No more sappy talk. Now we're getting to the good stuff of the episode, where I think most people will tune into to hear what I have to say about this. It's not like, you know, anything important, of course, because nothing really on this podcast has ever been, in my eyes, important. It's always kind of been like what I'm interested in, which I wouldn't consider important for the viewers. But, you know, you make that own decision. You make that decision yourself. Moving on to the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness review. This is going to be a non-spoiler review. You don't got to worry about me spoiling the movie. I feel like I've been on a pretty good streak of not spoiling anything unless I say that it is going to be a spoiler. So, without further ado, let's get into this review. Now, a little bit of backstory on this before I fully jump in. I did watch WandaVision all the way through. Thought it was meh. 7 point something. I don't remember the exact score that I gave it, but I believe it was in the 7s. Just because I felt like it did have a little bit of a lackluster ending and kind of, you know, pulled the rug out of underneath me. And I'm like, I kind of really didn't think that it had to be done like that. But, you know, I mean, whatever. It's fine. If you've been watching the Marvel TV shows on Disney Plus, you probably get this view of like, they're cool, but like, the real ticket is with the movies still. Like, it's always going to be like that. In my experience with seeing this movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, like, it's still the movies. Right? The Marvel still really shines within the movies. Like, there's some pretty cool moments in the shows, don't get me wrong. Pretty cool moments. But when they want to get a point across to you, or when they want to make something big happen, or a big shift in some things, or with some certain characters, it's going to be in the movies. So just so you know that. That's just my opinion. That's how I think. You probably view it a different way. You probably view it like the TV shows actually do a better job than you're saying, Alex. Well, all the power to you. I truly don't really see that as much as you do, I guess. It was getting back to Doctor Strange. I didn't really care for the first one all that much because no, that's not right for me to say. I did care about it. It was a good movie, but it just felt like the same old origin story, which is, it's already going to be a knock automatically for me because I've just seen that so many times. So like, I mean, what are they supposed to do? Like, how are they going to change it up? But that's not their fault. That's just a me problem. But getting to this movie, I was really excited because I wanted to see if they were going to mention anything from, because Elizabeth Olsen is in it. Wanda Maximoff is in this movie, as you've seen in the trailers, hopefully. That's not a spoiler. She's in the movie. And I was wondering if they were going to reference, bring up, mention, or have any type of payoff to what we found out or what we experienced in WandaVision. And thank Christ, they did. They did, thank God. Because I believe that this is the first MCU movie recently that has addressed any of the TV shows. I believe so that it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Roll your eyes at me if I'm wrong. I probably am wrong, but I think, to my knowledge, that this is the first one that I think that it is the first one. So, in terms of that, and the way that they did that, and the payoff from that, I thought it was really good. Really, really good. I was actually shocked of how much that the show references were in that, and stuff about the show that was in that. I was like, okay, thank you. And it wasn't just one bullshit line, or one bullshit quip, or a little wink, wink, wink. That remember that happened? At first I thought it was because it was set up to be a just a little nod, or it could have been, for some people who didn't see it, it could have been like, oh, what was that? People who probably did see it were like, oh, that. Oh. But they fleshed it out more. It was part of the story that and I thought it was worth it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. In the terms of the movie itself, though, Sam Raimi comes back to Marvel to direct in the Multiverse of Madness, and he's going all in. He's going all in on a supernatural, sci-fi horror type stuff between Doctor Strange, the Wizards, Wanda, and the multiverse itself. And I gotta say, man, I really, really enjoyed this movie. Maybe more than the traditional MCU fan, maybe more than the traditional Marvel Comics fan. I don't know, but I feel like with me, and I've seen scores on Rotten Tomatoes and scores on IMDb. I haven't read any reviews, but I've just seen the scores themselves. It's not No Way Home vibes. It's not giving us giving everybody yeah cheers like that, but it's this was pretty sick, I have to say. I'm actually surprised at how much I dug this movie and how much I thought that it being so not MCU-y, in my opinion, that I liked it even more. Truly, I was so happy that there was no okay, this is kind of a spoiler, kind of. There was no spoiler warning. This is it though. This is it. There was no MCU SUV car chase with guys shooting guns in this movie. There was none of that. And I was so happy that was the case, because how many times did we watch Marvel movies, Marvel TV shows, and there's always some bad guy or villain that's supposed to look like the villain, that's supposed to be a villain from a comic book or an arc or something like that, or a graphic novel, and he's just some guy with some a plated vest, knee pads, and goons back behind him with machine guns, right? Who have SUVs and are in black suits and all that, and they look like another agency. And how cool was it not to see that? if you've seen Doctor Strange, like, and for it to go full in multiverse, full in supernatural horror type stuff, actually kind of spooky in some parts, actually quite surprised me because I'm not a big fan of the spooks, but I thought it was actually pretty tight. I really did. I really enjoyed it. I love Benedict Cumberbatch in this movie. He showed me some, like, the range on this guy in playing his character and what his character has to go through and see for the first time. And his little arc in this movie is so good. Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff in this movie, so good as well. I feel like her arc is even better than Strange, but like you could easily pick between the two. I feel like they both really earned their stripes, as you would say. I thought it was really well done. I really did. And it really brings the Sam Raimi vibe. It really does. I was getting some like feels and like with some musical cues from Danny Elfman of the Raimi trilogy for Spider-Man. Some of the shots were like similar to some of the scenes in Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. And I'm like, yo, this is kind of cool. The musical cues, it did not sound like an MCU movie either. Let me get that straight too. Like, the MCU movies since Avengers have all kind of had that same undertone type music with like the heroic sounds of the MCU, like da 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 da, like that stuff, right? That's always kind of been like woven into most of the movies, aside from like Guardians of the Galaxy, right? It's always kind of been woven into that, even with Falcon Winter Soldier, even like not really Loki, or not Loki, WandaVision, and not really Moon Knight, but like the movies themselves, right? Mainly the movies. So like hearing that, new score and new take on like this type of hero and this absolute madness from this movie, because it is madness. The multiverse is absolutely madness in this movie. And Sam Raimi brings it in every way, shape, and form. And the creativity with the madness and how it intertwines with universes and all that, and different characters and different people and different situations. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I really did. So, I mean, it does kind of get like a little clunky at the end, in my opinion. Like, it does get a little clunky with how it's going to, finish off, and like what certain characters are going to do, what happens to certain characters. It does get a little clunky at the end, but I do think that it all pays off well. And in itself, it really does, in my opinion, it shapes characters in ways that I'm excited to see how they progress with that. The characters do change, by the way, like which is like something that I don't normally see too much in MCU movies, and normally they're kind of just like sort of the same for like at least like they're not in between too many movies, right? But this is a Doctor Strange movie itself. Like, this is his movie, so like you would expect to see him to grow, progress, and change, which thankfully we do see that. So that's also a plus. I really enjoyed Benedict Wong's Wong in this movie. Wong is such a badass, man. They got to make a Wong movie, because I would watch that instantly. I mean, that guy, Benedict Wong as Wong, first of all time great casting, by the way. He's so fun to watch in all of his stuff. He's great. The woman who played America Chavez, I thought that was also really good. The other people in the movie were also very good. Rachel McAdams was very good in the movie, and Benedict Cumberbatch, again, like, talk about amazing casting. Benedict Cumberbatch as Dr. Stephen Strange, great casting, just great. Like, nails everything about like you would think about Doctor Strange. Like, when I haven't read a Doctor Strange comic or read like a Doctor Strange like graphic novel or anything like that, but I've seen photos like and drawings of Doctor Strange, and like just seeing like side by side with the comic book and then the movie, it's like, oh, they looks like they've nailed this guy, like just like by appearance alone, and his like his looks and his behavior. I'm like, dude, they looks like they've nailed this character in the MCU. And I was just like, yeah, like this is great. This is fantastic. So overall, I really, really enjoyed this movie. I really did. I gave it a pretty high score, I think, higher than I expected, and I tweeted it. But of course, I'll say it on the podcast. But I mean, I really enjoyed it more than I thought I did, which is good because I never want to be let down by a movie. Really, really don't. So the fact that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which exceeded my expectations and was actually better than I thought, this movie deserves my rating of an 8.1 out of 10. I could say that completely with confidence. Completely with confidence. Like, it's not the greatest MCU movie, but I enjoyed it more than I thought. More than I thought I did. The difference, not the difference, but the fact that it is so different from MCU movies just brings a smile to my face. Because again, we've had 20 plus of these movies that have been so similar that when you get one that's like this one, like Eternals, that is like the shows like Moon Knight, that are different, it's always nice to see them do something different, and for them to, change up the vibe, change up the tone, change up the formula, and stuff like that. It always makes me smile because it's like, okay, I know that they're trying to do something different here. They can't. They just. I'm not saying that that this is, definitive. Like that they can't just keep making the same thing over and over again. They can. I'm not saying that they won't, but like to see them do something different and make it an entirely different type of movie than we've ever seen before. I mean, I thought it was really good. The creativity too with some of like these like magical things, these wizardry things, these illusions is like, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. I'm like, I'm so glad that I saw this. And I saw it in IMAX too. I mean, you got to see this movie in IMAX. This movie really pops in IMAX. I just got to say that. This movie in IMAX, just like, Infinity War, just like Endgame, even Spider-Man No Way Home, this movie really hits in IMAX. Really good, really fun watch too. And just before I leave off on the movie portion, before the movie actually started, my audience, and I think everybody who saw it in IMAX, got to see, I mean, I would say at least 5 minutes of Top Gun Maverick. And holy shit, man. This movie looks so freaking good. I cannot wait for May 27th. I truly, truly cannot wait for this movie. It's going to be amazing. I like, I just cannot wait. And I was smiling the entire time, like, oh my God, I'm actually seeing stuff. And it was a good chunk. It was like at least 5 minutes. And I'm like, holy shit, I can't wait to see this. This is going to be amazing. And then we saw the Avatar: The Way of Water trailer in IMAX. Oh my God, amazing as well. You see so much more detail on that big screen. That is like, I can't wait for Top Gun. I can't wait for Avatar. I can't wait for, what else did they show? Oh, Thor in IMAX. That trailer blew me away too. I'm like, dude, this is going to be the summer of movies. If you think about it, like, we just got Doctor Strange. What's after that? Let me just look it up real quick, because this actually might be the summer of the blockbuster. Like, these are going to be gigantic movies that are coming out this in the next few months, I would say. Let me just look it up real quick, because we're already in like mid-May now, so we're going to be getting movies very, very soon. So we got coming up is Top Gun, which is May 27th, Jurassic World, which was also in a trailer in June 10th, Elvis June 24th, Lightyear June 17th. That looks sick as well. And then what else? What else do we got? I saw some more. What was it? Oh, and Thor in July. This is going to be a great summer for movies, man. Can't wait. Something for everybody. Right? We got more superheroes, Jurassic, Elvis, Buzz Lightyear, Top Gun. This is going to be sick. This is going to be a great summer for movies, and I can't wait. I'll watch like maybe all of those in IMAX. I think so. I think so. I think that'll be worth it. Moving on. Some actual, I guess you can say, important news for the world, at least in my view. There's going to be, I believe next week, the first public hearing on UFOs in decades in this country, the United States. Hello? Is anybody else excited for this? I mean, like, we've had those debriefs, we've had those documents on the Black Vault that have been released. By the way, I've seen some of those Black Vault documents. Some of them are pretty chilling. If you there's a ton of them, right? There's like thousands of documents that are all able to be viewed by the public. Some of them are like very like in bad quality, like very bad copies. Like the ink is like splotchy. Some of the words are cut off. But if you can get a couple like good sentences and good like paragraphs out of them, like there's some pretty scary stuff that's been happening with these, in these reports, whether they're true or not. It's like, this is kind of crazy. It's kind of, unsettling. So like if you are, like me, interested in aliens, UFOs, what is beyond Earth, I think next week is going to be extremely, extremely important. Extremely important to whether, if anything actually happens, for that to be, even matter, right? Like, remember, like, last June, we were supposed to get, like, some kind of big, like, reveal, and it was just like, yeah, we don't know what they are. We have no idea what they could be. They're not us. We have no idea. That was essentially that year's big release, was just like, we don't know what they are. They're not us, essentially. So the fact that it's going to be debriefed in, I believe, Congress or some type of government, place, is pretty big to me. Pretty big, because what they have not, said anything on this in decades, like I said. So, I mean, what are we gonna get? What do you think that we'll get? Like, oh yeah, they're real. Those things are definitely alien, and we have proof. Like we could get that. We could get. Yeah, we still don't know. It's not China or Russia or us or anybody that we even think that could make that, and we have no idea. I think also, if you guys haven't noticed, like, there's actually like a pretty like clear image that was just released like maybe a couple days ago of like, it's like a black and white photo that was taken like decades ago, above, like, I think like right above Costa Rica, like a chunk of land in Costa Rica. And you see, I'm not kidding you, like a silver disc, a silver saucer in the frame. Like, it's a video, so you got to freeze it like right at that moment, I believe. And when you do freeze it, you can clearly see that this is a saucer type of craft. Like decades ago, I'm thinking like, how are we just seeing this right now? Like, how does this happen? What is this all about? And just seeing that image, I'm like, yo, like what in the world? Like, I've been a believer for like maybe 5 years now, right? Like maybe 5 years. Like something's out there. I don't know what it is, but something definitely is out there. People have seen it, and I don't think that they're crazy either. Like, to me, when people start saying, like, yo, I've seen a UFO, and then other people are just like, nah, dude, you're just insane. You're crazy. You have no idea what we're talking about. Isn't that kind of like a form of gaslighting? Like, how can you think that? I saw it. Like, why are you calling me crazy from something that I actually saw? Isn't that like a form of gaslighting? To be, if we're gonna be fair to the definition of gaslighting, isn't that kind of like gaslighting or close to gaslighting? So, if you're gonna be like, I'm not a gaslighter, isn't that what you're doing? By the way, I just figured out what that word means, and it took me a while to figure it out, but I actually did some. Well, I didn't do anything, but my family told me it. Even though my friends told me, I didn't really understand it. But when my family did, I'm like, okay, I understand now. I know what that word means now, and I will do my best to not do what that word means, because it could be mean, and I guess hurtful. But back to the UFOs, I'm like, dude, what is this? It needs to be answered. These questions must be answered. Have we discovered a body? Is there a body? Is there a species? Is there a pilot to this saucer, to these saucers, these objects, these aerial phenomena, whatever? I need to know. I need to know badly. Truly, I need to know badly what these are. If they're going to be a threat, are they friendly? What's the dealio? So I'm hoping that this debrief is actually worth mine and the people of Earth's time. Because if it's not, like, who gives a shit? If you're not going to say anything, then don't have anything. Like, how are you not interested in what these are? Like, as a member of the government, and I know we don't talk politics here, right? We don't talk any politics. But as a member of the government, if you've seen things that are in the sky that should not be there, and we have no recognition of what that might be, and we know there's no aircraft in that area, how can you just let that happen? You're like, let it go. We don't need to know what that is. Just let it go. Like, how could you? Why would you even say that? That's so like not being safe or not playing it safe. Like, I just don't get that. But yeah, the next week's gonna be. It's gonna be hopefully worth it. Not a waste of our time. People on Earth have to live lives. We have families, we have friends, we have people that we love. And if this is going to change things, which I don't know if it will, I don't think that it will. If it's any useful information, let us know that it's real, or that it's it's definitely something that we think is blank. Aliens, interdimensional travel, future us. Who knows? I just watched the Multiverse of Madness, so I'm like, anything is on the table now. Anything is on the table. But that's just my little spiel on that. Aliens, UFOs. I want them to be real. I really do. But if they're not real, then they're not real, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like, I can't tell people that they're crazy. I can't call anybody crazy if they believe what they've seen is real and true. Like, what gives me my right? What gives me the right to do that? I mean, I guess you have every right to do anything that you want, but like, how would that make them feel? Like, if they truly saw something, right? And they tell their friends, they tell their families, like, yo, I saw something out there that I've never seen before. I think it might be this. Like, nah, dude, you're crazy. Like, how would that make that person feel, right? Like, how often do you even like any person out there, right? How often do you like even see things that could be considered, that could like categorize you as a crazy person? Like, not many at all. Like, if I'm an average guy and I go out every day and I function in society and do things and all that, like, how often am I going to just be like, see something out of the ordinary? Probably not really. Probably like 1% of my entire life, I'll see something out of the ordinary. Something extraordinary. Something, that I've never seen before. But, like, I don't think that's like it happens like all the time, right? Like, my brain is not playing a trick on me. Like, I would know if it was, right? Like, we can I think we can differentiate like what's real and what's fake with our naked eye. So when someone's like, "Nah, you're crazy," it's like, "No, like I'm not. I saw this. I saw it move. I saw it do things that I've never seen before. But you haven't, and you probably just have this pre-conditioned, response to say like, "Oh, you're just crazy, man. You're crazy. What are you talking about? You don't know anything." Like, truly, I don't. I don't know anything, but I do know what I saw, and that's what I saw. To end the show, we'll talk a little bit about sports, and probably the biggest contract to be an analyst I've ever seen in my entire life. The GOAT, Tom Brady, is the GOAT at life. He has, well, I mean, I don't think he's agreed to anything. Well, I think he has, but Fox Sports tweeted that once the great Tom Brady retires, he is going to become the senior analyst for Fox, NFL on Fox, and he will be in the booth with broadcasting the games with Kevin Burkhardt, who I actually think is a great broadcaster. But dude, this guy, I mean, he just keeps winning. He's not even done playing yet. He's like, yo, we want to lock you up to be our number one analyst, right? America's Game of the Week, that's yours. Will you do it? You don't have to do it right now. Not even next season. Not even maybe the year after that if you still want to play. Just whenever you're done, would you come to the Fox lot, get in a suit, go to Green Bay with Kevin and can call the Packers game. Packers versus Cowboys, that'll be Game of the Week, and that's yours. It's like, yeah, okay, how much you paying me? We were thinking about 10 years, $375 million. How's that sound, Mr. Brady? Like, it's truly crazy how this man, who is the GOAT in football, maybe even athlete of all time, maybe, how this guy just keeps winning. And it's like, dude, he's the best. Like, I don't like him as a quarterback. I think he's just because he wins all the time. But that's just, just sports, competition speaking out. But he is truly the best. He's the GOAT. He really is. And the fact that Fox is like, we got to lock this guy up because we have nobody. I mean, they just lost Joe Buck and Troy Aikman to ESPN, who I thought that would never leave Fox because they just always kind of were like the staple of the NFL on Fox. They were just, the guys, the boys, Buck and Aikman. That's always been the thing. I still got to wrap my brain around that they're going to be on Monday Night Football on ESPN. And that Al Michaels is no longer with NBC. He's going to be doing Amazon with Kirk Herbstreit. Like, I still got to remember, like, once the football season starts, that the entire broadcasting roster has been flip-flopped. It's going to be crazy to experience. I don't know. It's something to think about. And it's like, damn, man, if only I could, like, you know, it's like almost like, hey, well, if I was in my position, right? Like, I enjoy playing video games with my friends, right? And I do that for, I've been doing that in my entire life, gotten pretty good at it. And they're like, okay, well, now that you're done, if I was even that good, I was, a competitor, and I was like on an esports team. I became a streamer. No, it's like that. It's like you being, not even me, but like somebody who is like a competitive, esports gamer, right? Who grinds, who wins championships, wins trophies, has a good career with that. Is like, you know what? I'm gonna go be a streamer now. And like, he already has such a big fan base that when he goes over there, he's got like, it's essentially like almost like a Tom Brady type of deal. When you show up, you do your thing, you already have people loving you for what you've done, supporting you, wanting to watch you anywhere that they can, and just, play what, essentially like maybe the same game or whatever you want, or maybe mix it up and still get success, right? And still have, people loving you, people loving what you do. Even if it's in like the same light but a little bit of a different shade, it's just like, it's like he is meant to be in football for his entire life. I mean, he wasn't done playing it, and when he's going to be done playing it, he's still not really done with it. He'll still be talking about it, giving his analysis, giving his opinion, calling the games. My question is, how is he going to be if he has to call a game with Jimmy Garoppolo as the quarterback? Like, what if he has to call a game when it's Jimmy Garoppolo? And what if Garoppolo is playing well? Like, is he going to be like, yeah, man, that Garoppolo, he can throw the ball, pretty well? Or is he going to be like, Jimmy's got this thing going on. He's got this thing that he does really well, but he's not very good at this. Like, is he going to be fair? Is he going to be hypercritical with other people? Like, how is that going to work out, right? Like, what if he has to call Aaron Rodgers games? Like, what if he does retire after this season? He goes into it next season. Aaron Rodgers this is his last year. Like, what if that happens? I don't know. That could be interesting. That could be cool. And that's also another reason why I just, I'm never going to stop watching football is because Tom Brady's going to be the number one, analyst on the Fox network, which is going to be it's going to be sick. It's going to be so cool. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for watching. If you kind of noticed, I do sound a little under the weather. I've had a cold for a couple days, and I've just been very nasally, very mucusy. Mucus in my throat, mucus in my nostrils, blowing out mucus. So, it changed up my voice a bit. But, this is my flu game. This is my flu pod. And thank you for sticking around. Thank you so much. I know it changed it quite a bit. I feel good, though. I feel normal. Just my congestion is a little bit is just annoying right now. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Again, you guys can find this podcast on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, on YouTube as well, on video at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Remember to like the videos, share the videos, rate the videos, give a review, share with your friends. If you have an idea or a topic you want me to talk about, you can DM me on my social medias that are all linked in those descriptions. Thank you so much, guys. Once more time, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week.